Welcome to the first episode of the Purpose Project podcast. I am your host, Brandon Goff, and I am excited to have you on the podcast with me today. Not only do I get to lead this podcast, I get to pastor Radiate Church in Columbia, South Carolina as well. And man, God's given me some amazing opportunities in my life. I can't wait for you to take this journey on this podcast with me. Here's the purpose of the podcast. The idea is I believe with everything inside of me that we all have a purpose set within us by God. My heart, my hope, and my prayer is that as we go on this journey together, then I'd give some tangible ways that we can consider things and execute things in our lives that move us closer to the purpose that God has for us on a consistent and a daily basis. So I hope that this podcast is helpful for you today. Hey, listen, we're going to begin a series of talks over the next several episodes called Frontlines Forward. And the idea of this series of talks is to discuss principles that will help us really move our lives forward toward what God has for us on a consistent basis, towards the purpose and the promises that God has put within us. Now, I'm going to be really transparent for a moment. This opening series of talks is dedicated to my friend, my brother, and my former coworker, Travis, who tragically passed away in 2023. I love you, man. I miss you every single day. But these were topics that we discussed often, we believed in wholeheartedly, and we lived out daily. So I hope that these topics and these series of talks are helpful for you, your family, and the purpose God's put in you. A few days ago, I was moving some firewood in my backyard, and I got a riding lawnmower, and I have a trailer that I can hook up to the back of it. And I backed up to the trailer, I hooked the trailer up, and I pulled up to where the firewood was, and I began to load the firewood into the trailer. I needed to move it several yards away, and it was just easier to do it this way than several trips back and forth. So I loaded it into the trailer. I pulled the lawnmower around with the trailer full of firewood to where I wanted to unload this firewood. And I pulled up, and as I pulled up, I went to go backwards to back the trailer in between two trees where I wanted the firewood to sit and stay as dry as possible when rain or adverse weather hit. And I got stuck. The back wheel of my lawnmower began spinning. I kept hitting the gas, and it just spun more and more. And eventually, as you know, if you've been in that situation, it begins to dig a little bit of a trench where you are. And it didn't matter, honestly, how hard I hit the gas. It didn't matter how hard I hit the back and the reverse pedal. None of that mattered. What mattered was it was just spinning the tire because there was no traction on it. And what I had to do, as you know, if you've been in this situation, you have to create some traction. So you kind of have to rock the lawnmower. I had to get off for a minute, push it forward a little bit, hit the gas again, back up, allow it to get some traction, and then it began to move easily. Now, here's the thing. If we're honest with ourselves today, all of us that are listening to this, including myself, we've all been in that situation in our lives where we feel like we're hitting the gas, we're doing what we need to do, but for some reason we're just digging a trench. The wheels are spinning, the wheels are moving, but there's no traction, there's no movement. We're stuck in our work, maybe we're stuck in our family dynamic with our wife, our kids, our husband, our kids, whatever it is. We're stuck in our finances, our spiritual life, maybe your professional life, wherever you are. The wheels are moving. We can tell the wheels are moving, but there's no traction. Nothing is moving, nothing is shifting, nothing is changing. We're trying, but there's just not much progress. And here's the deal with that. It can get really frustrating, get really difficult, and you can stay stuck or you can get moving. But the hard part is that decision's only up to you. It's really your decision. Do you want to stay stuck? Do you want to continue to just let the wheels spin and hopefully maybe one day you'll figure out some traction? Or do you want to get off for a minute and evaluate the situation, put some traction under the tire, and see what kind of movement and momentum you can make? Truthfully, by listening to the podcast today, my hope is that you want to make some movement and not stay stuck. Here's the problem with staying stuck. Many of us are addicted to staying stuck because it's safe. I want to encourage you, get out of your safe zone and make some traction, make some movement. I also want to encourage you with this today. It's not always massive moves that move the front lines forward. It's incremental, everyday, consistent movement toward the goal that makes a difference. Throughout the journey of this podcast, you'll probably hear me use a phrase many times that's just make the quarter turn. Oftentimes, it's quarter turns that make all the difference to tighten the bolt or to change something to gain some traction in your life. Here's a question to think through as we discuss this topic today. What are the consistent, everyday, rhythmic, maybe even boring things and rhythms in your life that you can do to move the front lines forward toward the goal you have in your life and the purpose God has in your life? In 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 25, it talks about athletes and how athletes are disciplined to receive a trophy or a wreath. It depends on the translation you use. They receive this trophy, they receive this wreath, or they receive this reward, and they discipline their bodies, they discipline the rhythms in their life to get to this thing. And here's what it kind of says in that scripture is, that's an earthly thing that fades away. The writer is encouraging, Paul is encouraging us, hey, discipline your life, discipline your body, discipline your rhythms to achieve the eternal thing, to achieve the thing that matters the most. And I want to encourage you today, maybe you're just a few quarter turns of some disciplines, some rhythms in your life away that get you closer to the purpose and the promise that God has for you, your family, your finances, your workplace, wherever you are. I don't want you to walk away today and go, man, the wheels are spinning, but there's no movement. There's no traction. There's nothing changing in my life, and I don't know where to go. I want you to walk away today and go, oh, I can feel the wheels moving, and I know that there's something happening, but there's no movement, but at least I know something to think through, something to do, some ideas to execute that will help me find some rhythm, some traction, some movement in your life. I want for you to accomplish, and I mean this, everything in your life that God has put within you to accomplish. Here's the truth. I want you to finish your life when that time comes. I want you to finish your life with your faith, your family, and some good finances. I really want you to finish your life, your race on earth with your faith, your family, and some good finances. And one way that we can do that is we have to come to this idea that maybe to gain some traction towards the purpose God has in my life, whatever that looks like, professionally, personally, relationally, wherever you are, spiritually, wherever you are, it's disciplines. It's figuring out what do I need to do to gain that traction. Because here's the truth. Here's the truth about your disciplines. Your current disciplines are leading you to your current results. Now, the reality is that may be assuring for you. That may be positive for you. You may hear that statement and you may be like, man, that is awesome. I'm glad my disciplines are on point. Or you may hear that and you may feel a sense of guilt, or you may feel a sense of sadness or frustration because you realize that the results you're getting are not the results that you should be getting. It's not the results you want. It's not the results you're searching for in your life. And it may definitely not be the results that God has for you in your life. Well, I want you to know that the current disciplines you have are setting you up for the current results that you're experiencing. So if you don't like the results that you're experiencing, evaluate the disciplines, evaluate the rhythms, figure out what it takes to move the line forward, gain some traction to do something. Evaluate your disciplines physically. Are you accomplishing what you want to accomplish physically in fitness, in health? Are you accomplishing those things? If not, what disciplines or rhythms are in your life that are helping you get unhealthy results? What are the current disciplines or current results you're getting spiritually? Are you hearing God like you want to? Are you experiencing God in a new way? Are you encountering the life-giving community of church like you want to? If not, what rhythms and disciplines have you created that are getting you there, and how do we shift those relationally? I know several years ago in my marriage, my wife and I, we've always been good relationally, but there was just like something missing. It just felt a little off. And we tried to figure out what it was on our own for a while, and we kind of couldn't. So we started talking to some people about it. And here's what we realized. We didn't have good disciplines and rhythms for date nights and times together. We have 3 kids. It's a wild, chaotic circus at times, but it's an amazing journey to go on together. And so we set rhythms that every 2 weeks, without question, we will take time to spend time together on a date night. We'll go to a dinner, or maybe we do the date night at home. But either way, it's a rhythm to reconnect. Every day, every week, we sit down and we talk about our calendars, and we talk about pertinent information that needs to be known for the day or for the week. See, we had to change our rhythms and our disciplines in order to get a different results. Do you like the results you're currently getting? If so, great. Inventory that and figure out how to keep it. If you don't, inventory that and figure out what needs to change. Sometimes it's not a massive turn, but a quarter turn that makes all the difference to get the results you're looking for. Here's another thought for you about disciplines and rhythms. To experience what few people do, you have to be willing to do what few people will. Let me say that again. To experience what few people will experience, or what few people do, you have to be willing to do what few people will. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to look different. It's even going to look weird and crazy to some people that aren't willing to do what you're willing to do to get the results you want to accomplish in your life and that God has set for you to accomplish in your life. But don't be afraid of doing things that others may see as odd. That's okay. Like if you have a goal to get physically fit and your schedule's crazy during the day, wake up earlier and go to the gym. Yes, that's when the weird people go. And yes, people may go, how do you go to the gym at 5 a.m. every morning? It doesn't matter how. It's that you're doing it because you're going to accomplish what God's got for you. Whatever it looks like, if it's in your relationships, in your marriage, man, do what you need to do to be the life-giving spouse and the life-giving friend in your relationships. Spiritually, what does it look like to draw closer to God, closer to others, and serve your community and your church well? Man, figure what those out are and go, I'm not afraid to do what few people will so that I can experience what few people do. Man, it's such a freeing and an opportunistic mindset to say, I'll do what I need to do to get where I know God's calling me to go. Wake up earlier, go to bed earlier, work out more, become more generous, serve people better, and love people well. Whatever it takes, I'm going to take a step forward because my hope is today that we say, I'm not going to stay stuck. I'm going to move the front lines forward. So if you're stuck and the wheels are turning, but there's not much movement, I want you to do this. Focus on moving the lines forward, even if it's a little bit at a time, because over time, it will build up and you'll begin to see a difference way sooner than you think. Here's what I want to encourage you to do. Check out the next episode as soon as it's launched and be a part of one of the things that can help you continue to see movement without killing momentum. I can't wait to talk about that with you. Here's what I want you to know that I know about you. You were created for a purpose. You can do more than you think you can, and you matter. So let's get after it this week. Let's make a difference, and I'll see you on the next episode.